2, 1.
Welcome back. Let's get into the Suburb some more. So I welded up this part of the running board. Obviously not perfect, but I need to bend all this out to match up like I showed you. I'll be working on that. But I was pulling some stuff out so I could take pictures for a guy trying to buy some parts. So let me show you what we'll be working on. Maybe not this video, but we'll see how distracted I get. So like I said, obviously this is super crusty back here. I would love if I could save this side. I'm gonna wire wheel it down, see how it looks. Because it is a little deep up in this area that maybe I could just patch and not do the whole panel. But obviously this side, it had split off and is broken off in there. So just to tell you what my plan was to bring these panels all the way down to the floor, and then we'll run carpet, so it's like you're not gonna see any of the metal. Usually on these it's just this little panel, and then metal, and they're really loud, so I want to put sound deadening all in here and run these panels all the way down. So what I want to do is eventually there's a little bead in here. Oh, you see on this side there's a little bead in here that panel sits up on. I wanted to bring that bead all the way back here and just run that panel all the way down and run it all the way to that back seam. Obviously in the curve it makes it a little harder, but that way I could put some thick sound deadening in, and then that panel, so all that stuff, all this is gonna come out a little bit. As you can tell, it's kind of got like a weird little ridge in it anyway. So sound deadening and then that panel, it'll kind of make it more flat than it was before, which would be nice. But you do need to kind of extend this out, and obviously they have some threads in here, so you could screw that in, but I'll probably put all new inserts in. Obviously I was excited whenever I didn't know that I had some damage in these inner garnish moldings also, but I have some extras. I can kind of patch some stuff together. The sheet metal, I'd love to keep it as simple as possible, but obviously, like I said, it's crusty. This side all kind of blew out whenever I was lifting the Suburban up. So obviously it's all wood. I'll need new panels everywhere anyway. So let's get into it. Well, molding's off, so just to show you what it's like, this is basically your window track. And then it just goes all the way around. These slid in there. It has this little chrome trim that goes on, which I do want to save for sure. And like, I'm gonna save glass as long as it's not blatantly cracked. Like this looks like maybe it's just laminating. It doesn't totally look cracked. The same with this glass and this one. But obviously I need a new one of these. But you can tell it is just where everything sits and rust out. So once I get this off a little more, I will clean in there. It looks like there's a little metal, almost angle iron piece that probably holds the glass and everything in. Hopefully I can save that, or at least use it for templates and make new stuff. I'm sure it'll make new stuff, but I'm gonna need to get all this glass out without breaking it. So hopefully I don't break anything. Not try to spend more money, you know? It's a war zone in here, as you could have expected, but pulled a bunch of stuff out. I tried to get my door panels off and stuff, but there's still some screws I need to get out of a couple things. But to show you the quality of this build, this is like a little gutter that goes up in here, and this tube just goes ahead and drains all that water, so it rusts everything out. So obviously, luckily that's like underneath this channel, so not the end of the world. In my mind, there's nothing you're doing that's going to save these from rusting. I don't know how you possibly could. So I might even try to make more holes and make my own little gutter system, but still, it's like, just like your doors, you know, like everyone thinks all that water goes somewhere good. No, it goes to the bottom of your doors. That's why doors are always rusted out. And there's little weep holes, but they always fill up with dirt. So, you know, I need to get a couple screws off. I want to get all this headliner and everything out because I would like to save a couple of those just because I could use them as templates and just save myself a little bit of time. And then obviously I want to save all these little bows up here, and I will be reusing those later to hold your headliner up nice and tight. So she's crusty as I expected. Oh yeah, that might be where some of my rust issues are coming from. Everybody lives in here. So let me try to kick some of these guys out. Those aren't too hard. There's 3 little screws that hold it in. These headliner pieces. And so instead of making templates, which if you've never done that, it kind of sucks. Especially when you gotta get these arches all to match up. So I marked where they all go. I am missing this middle piece back here, so I have to make that. And I am missing the front, which is kind of fine, I think, in the front. I might be wrong, but hopefully it's the same setup as the truck, because I need one more of these little bows. And then I don't know how it butts up to the visor area. So I'm gonna go check out a truck next time I'm at the salvage yard and see what it looks like. Also, I do want to get another one of these dome lights. I have the cover over there, but I do want to throw a dome light in the back too. So luckily I saved that. I gotta see, I don't know if this trim comes off right here, but hopefully that comes off too, because I'd like to be able to clean up underneath there. So yay, exciting stuff. And then I marked all these bows from the back. I'm pulling stuff off in here. Steering column was horrible, like horrible to get off. So is this little grill piece. There's bolts on the edges, but in the center they're not actually bolts. They're those little pins that kind of like just stick in. If you've never seen one of these, this is a little radio delete plate, and they got little kind of fillers with nuts on them. So usually you'll see these plates, but usually you don't see these still there. Also, the headlight setup sucked to get out. That thing was stuck in there, and I had to break it a bunch. And obviously, it's over here. But hopefully, I can use a 67 setup because they're 12 volt. And then I have a better ignition switch, and I'll show you why. That's coming out anyway. The throttle is just a, you know, kind of like a choke cable. And then this is a support, and that is the lever that moves your cowl vent. The brake, I'll show you. I'm not going to use that brake setup either. Door handle I am going to use, which is nice. And then these little vents are handy. The wiper arms, I'm not using that vacuum wiper. I hate dealing with those. This is that little, this goes up and above your wing window. And then this is a fun one. This is your dash support, which goes over your column, but it was super rusted out, and I'm gonna do something different anyway, so I cut it. I didn't really want the holes that mounts up here. This is your cowl one. This is your column one. I didn't want those holes anywhere. I'm gonna fill those in. Wing window that's all rusted out. I'm not gonna be able to use it. It's the whole framework is gone, so I'm gonna find some new ones. I have one that's a little bent that I need to pull apart and see how it looks, but another realization I came up with is that this cowl's coming out. I don't usually like real custom stuff, and I know it's not super custom, but I'm just gonna fill that panel in. It's so rusted out that to me it's not worth it. They're pretty prone to leaking in there. That will also get rid of some extra stuff that's up in there. Give me more space, because I do want to run a heater AC setup in there. I think the game plan is these mount on the sides. There's little supports that go into here. So I'm going to cut all of this out all the way across, and then I'm going to put like a flat rod over and weld that in, and that will support the dash. But all this overhang, I don't need that in there. It is just rotted out all up under there. So I will cut that flat. That means I'll have to relocate this ignition key switch. And then also that was like I'm assuming your cigarette lighter, but obviously I'm not gonna run one of those either, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, you gotta build all this stuff from scratch anyway. This truck's just so rotted out. All this stuff is staying because I'm gonna run my brake and clutch out of the same setup. I need to figure out how I'm gonna run my gas pedal. I think the only big thing I noticed in here is obviously cutting the bottom of that dash out kind of sucks because this little drop down does look pretty cool, but to me it's not worth it. Even if I had a new dash, I don't know if I really want to drill all those spot welds out and put a new dash in. But obviously this truck, everything is loose, so it's like, it's a mess. All this is gonna have to be built from scratch. At least this top piece looks decent enough. I can reuse all of that or most of it. They've already had patches over on that side. I need to know where the seats mount. Besides that, you know, you're gonna be building all that from scratch anyway. So what I've been doing back here is I put this in the center line. That way I can kind of graph all of where all these bolts holes go and how all the wood lays out. And then I'm gonna go get some 3/4 and put all the holes and bolts all back in the exact same spot. That way I can reuse all the supports underneath and everything will mount up fine. So I do need to make all the angle iron pieces pretty much from the wheel wells back. And so I already made templates for those. So, you know, we're coming along. I just wish there was less rust up in these areas. Around the window sucks. I'm just a little, not salty on it. I knew what I was getting into whenever I bought a rust bucket, but it's gonna be some work in here. So hopefully the wood, maybe go get that today or tomorrow. And then I gotta make all those patches up around the wheel wells. It's already been patched a bunch already, so I'm not breaking the internet by redoing some of this stuff. And you know, I want the general look, but I'm not a perfectionist as far as it has to have that drop down. And trust me, I'm gonna have to like weld all this up, and I don't have the tools to make that super nice anyway, so we'll see how it goes. All right, little tech tip for you guys working on these Suburbans or these older trucks. So they, instead of like a regular nut on the bolts, they have a square nut. So I didn't have a tool. So what I did is a small and a big socket and welded them together. That way I can run my impact on here and then undo those. If not, it takes forever doing it by hand. Wow, this is on the side of the road, which there's never any cool stuff out by us. The GMC. I cannot believe this is here. It is pretty gone, but cool to see in general. But you can tell it's got the kind of ambulance shipping seats on the side. Man, that's cool. Oh, it does have a bow right there. So I wonder what that is about. Oh, so it only goes one way. The other night I stripped down this Fender. This one is my bad one for sure out of the two. It's got more dents, it's got more rust. It has whatever's going on back here. Either there's a ton of lead or they put some foil down and then put a ton of Bondo in there. It is thick, like thick. And I didn't even strip it all the way down yet. I wanted to show you. I'll strip that down. I think what I'm gonna do is work on this side mainly and keep searching for a better passenger panel fender. So we'll see how it goes. I hope you guys like that GMC I put in here. I never see classic trucks around here, especially on the side of the road. You know, if they're decent, people put them in a barn. So it was cool to see that. But I was gonna strip this down too. I went and got a new trailer hitch for the 67 back here for 20 bucks. Hopefully it works out. Also, my friend had this giant sheet of 1/8" steel that has some holes and stuff, and you know, I think $25. So, and he has some scrap metal, so it's always nice to get whatever metal you can because it's so expensive. So, I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this metal to make the angle iron pieces in the corner instead of like bending angle iron and pie cutting it and stuff like that. I think I'm just going to cut out the shape and then weld the entire seam. Also, I picked up some plywood in here today. I don't have enough space in the garage because it's stupidly packed in here that I had to put it in the Suburban to mark it. Maybe I'll get to cut it tonight. We'll see. It's late and I don't like waking up my neighbors, so we'll see if I end up cutting this tonight or not. But I'm gonna mark all those holes. That way I have the plywood ready. I want to get the metal on the sides ready too. That way I can just do that all in one shot. My big concern is whenever I pull the plywood out, is the body going to drop down? If it does, it's kind of a concern. I seriously might hook up some straps in all these holes on the side right there and kind of hold the body up with some ratchet straps to my ceiling. Get the plywood out in halves or something and see, because you know, I think the plywood is probably the only thing besides the roof that's really holding this thing in shape. So it might get a little scary once I pull the wood out, but I do need it out, you know? All right, late night, freezing to death in the garage. So I'm gonna wrap up this video. Let's see where I ended. So for you guys that haven't worked with these Suburbans or seen them, they have these little carriage bolt holders for your seats. So basically a carriage bolt slides up so you can, you know, remove your seats like you see in a lot of vans and things like that nowadays. I basically just marked all these holes where they go and where I need to cut out. I can't find my circular saw. I might have thrown it away because I think it got wet one day or something, or I don't know. It wasn't working that well before anyway, so I might have to do this on a stupid table saw. I'm not doing that tonight. It's 12:30 at night. I don't want my neighbors calling anybody. I'll cut those two halves up next video. Let me know any ideas you guys have or thoughts on the wood. I know there's gonna be a seam in the middle. I'm probably gonna have to either put a piece of metal and kind of screw both seams together. I don't want it to like warp and sit weird, even though it does sit on top of cross supports. Again, I'm not gonna have my wood exposed like a lot of guys do. I'm gonna have sound deadening and then carpet on it, so it's not a big deal. And I don't even think I'm gonna run carriage bolts because they kind of drive me crazy. I think I'm gonna run regular bolts and just you know, let the sound deadening kind of take up the bolt head gap. So I'll have to cut a bunch of holes in the sound deadening, but it is what it is. I don't think I want to do I don't want the plywood out because I want it as quiet as I can in this thing, you know? I'm sure it's gonna be a rattle bucket. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoy trying to keep it cheap and trying to build it as quick as I can, but it does take a lot of time and I'm freezing. It is so cold. Let's see what we ended up with. It's I'm at 32, so that's okay. So thanks for watching these videos. Let me know what you guys think about the build. Later.